While most people are talking about Ultimate's 1v1 or even Squad Strike formats, I want to talk about a popular format that has existed pretty much throughout the entirety of Smash tournaments, and that is going to be 2v2 or doubles. Doubles is honestly an incredibly fun format that allows you and a team partner to express yourself and to communicate and to just play in very different ways than singles, which is very much obviously just focused on one interaction, one character, one type of spacing. But doubles, everything is so dynamic and so flowing and so ever-changing that it really tests your mind in a completely different way than singles. And Ultimate Doubles in particular is a pretty interesting format because of just the general changes of the game, such as balloon knockback, not being able to run through your opponents, so I do want to talk about a little bit. The first thing I want to mention is the fact that you can run through your teammates still. You do not have to go above or below them or roll through them or anything like that. The inability to run through is only for your opponents, which is very important because you can still kind of section your team in terms of the front or the back pretty easily, whereas you cannot chase your opponents easily if someone is on the ground, which I think is great. There have been plenty of times when I've been playing doubles and I've had to retreat behind MBD and I can still run through him, whereas I've also tried to approach someone that was off stage and I just tried to ignore whatever person was on stage, hoping that they would shield and not be able to run past them, but I wasn't able to run past them, so it allows people that are recovering to actually be covered by their teammate just by being on the ground, assuming the person isn't playing like Yoshi or someone with a ridiculously high air mobility that can just run or jump above you and then still get to the person off stage. And sometimes when we and MVD have been sandwiching our opponents, I've actually run to the person that is trying to help their teammate from the person getting comboed and just run at them and then keep them, just be in front of them and limit their movement, which was amazing. So the fact that, I can limit them to play the 1v1 and then I'm fighting this other person and they have to get through me and they can't just run by me, which again is in my opinion fantastic. And a big problem with other doubles games, specifically Smash 4 and sometimes Melee, is the fact that team combos are a little bit too easy because it's just like easy knockback and just kind of like boom 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 and just ladder people up all the way over and over and then just bring them back down. You saw it with Cloud specifically in Smash 4 and Bayo, and you saw like back air, back air, back air, like everything kind of happens, and that even happens in Melee. Although it is a little more difficult because of how prevalent SDI is, it still definitely happens in Melee. But with Smash Ultimate, at least right now, it seems incredibly difficult to get longer form team combos just due to the fact that balloon knockback exists. Characters immediately getting to pretty much where they're going to go at the end of the knockback make it so difficult to actually combo your opponents since you don't have time for them. Like, oh, they're flying, let me just hit them and intercept them and then hit them and intercept them. Like, no, you have to immediately be where the person is at the end of it. So you have to remember the short hop multiplier or lack thereof. You have to know exactly, where all the DIs lead to. So DI is going to make a huge factor now in terms of team combos because since you fly so fast, there's a big difference between being sent here and being sent here in a team combo with like your spacing and your combo ability and everything like that. So it seems more like if you're going to get a long form team combo, it is actually because you and your teammate are in such good sync and understand each other's characters so much to the point where you can just do it all the time and you can just guess DIs and things like that. And it's not going to be as easy as, let's say, just Cloud nair 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 finishing touch, which is again, in my opinion, fantastic. So you're going to have to win more neutral interactions. You're going to have to win or you're going to have to either be better at team comboing. You're going to have to be really, really talented at doubles to actually be good doubles players. And because combos seem a little bit less strong at mid percents in this game, being able to hit someone and then both of your teammates collapsing on that player to push their disadvantage as hard as you can, that's going to be a really valuable strategy that for the most part, like, you would hit someone away and then you would try to 2v1 the person on stage. But I feel like now, because you can't just run through people and get through them and then create the sandwich where like your opponent is in between both of you, like it's going to be so much easier just to push the other person away, even give up stage control to get 2 or 3 or 4 more hits on the person that you're already hitting to keep them at a worse position in disadvantage, and obviously their teammate has to come over to try to help, and then you can kind of fight them from there. It seems like both players being able to fill both roles in terms of the aggressor and the defensive or like the support player is going to be really important just due to the fact of how fast people fly, how fast stage position can change. So you really want both players to be able to pick up all the weight that they need to in both scenarios, which again, to me is fantastic because you can't just be like, oh, I'm a dedicated support player or I'm a dedicated aggressive player. Like even me in Smash 4, I learned how to be much more passive, and me and MVD playing passive is why we won Don't Park on the Grass, at least in a couple sets. So you have to not be able to just run your face in there, and you have to be able to not just stand back and do nothing. You really honestly need both as all of your characters. Players are going to have to be so in tune with their teammate just because you are going to have to constantly be switching between being aggressive and being defensive and collapsing on your teammates, and then both of you kind of camping and both of you being aggressive. And it's going to be really interesting to see the dynamics of everything because again, the movement in this game is so fast. fast that it's going to be difficult to keep track of, and it will be very easy to just kind of lose track of your game plan or lose track of what you're supposed to be doing in specific scenarios. So really, Deems is going to be incredibly skilled in this game. And now with that said, I do want to talk about some strong characters that I think have a really good edge for the beginning of doubles. Whether it's because they have really good zoning, or whether it's because they have really strong options that can lead both them and their opponent, or rather their teammate, to the center of the stage, or able to get some good follow-ups or edge guarding, I just want to talk about who I think right now are really, really strong doubles characters. Right now, I think that Snake is probably the strongest doubles character because of his ability to kill really early, his ability to sticky his teammate, which leads into instant kill setups for pretty much everyone, to create hazards on the stage with just grenades and C4s and up smashes, or what I guess it's called a mortar, right? So that just, the ability for him to control so much space in doubles is amazing. It is so strong, the fact that he can just kill really early. So it's like, oh, you're playing these skirmishes and you're throwing grenades, and even if their teammate, the Snake's teammate, is getting hit by these grenades, it is more likely that the opponents are getting hit by the grenades because there's like two of the opponents, so you have a 2/3 chance of, if a grenade hits someone, it is the opponent. So that is incredibly strong. The fact that, again, C4 sticky into just grab, like back throw of any character or up throw as any character into explode with the C4 is such a strong kill confirm, and like it's so hard to avoid because stickies, one, are way harder to see in this game because all they do is flash on the opponent. They don't make any discernible noise, which is, in my opinion, kind of dumb. I think it should make noise like it did in Brawl, and even then, Snake was one of the strongest characters in Brawl. You still have really cheesy kills such as Meta Knight up throw into C4 or Kirby up throw into C4 that can literally kill at 0%. You just have so much presence on the stage, and because he lives forever, he's also a hell of a stock tank. So the person that's getting blown up by grenades, or the person that's playing aggressive in front of the Snake, is then able to take a stock pretty much. So you can go for those trades as the aggressive player, and it sets up the aggressive player in such a good position where like you're aggressive and then the grenades are covering you, or you're being aggressive and both of you blow up with the grenade, but then because you and that opponent and even maybe their teammate is getting hit by these grenades and all these explosions, Snake is chilling back with like no damage, that it's able to just be fine. And because his general recovery is really high, and it's like, oh well, punish his disadvantage is like the flaw of Snake, right? Like that's what you would think, that, and maybe his speed, but in doubles you don't really need that because Snake can still approach with up tilts or just make your life hell with grenades, and then if he's recovering really high, the teammate can be there to kind of cover it, or to at least make it a little bit more hectic in order for you to punish it. And if you mess up or you trade with grenade, then suddenly you're taking damage, and then the teammate of the Snake can go put him in. Like there's so much that this character can do and just creates just by existing and having grenades and C4s. So I think this character is by a bit the strongest doubles character at the current moment. Lucina to me is also one of the strongest characters in doubles. She controls a lot of space, she has really consistent damage and really consistent killing with a good enough recovery that's pretty hard to edgeguard, especially for the not super great edgeguarding characters. She's able to wall people out with her sword, she's able to support people, she's able to juggle characters for easy damage, because a lot of the times in doubles you don't have time to get like your full combos, but Lucina's combos aren't really that long anyway. It's kind of like a hit into an up air and then a juggle, so if the teammate starts coming there, then she can fight them and maybe potentially continue the juggle with like an up tilt or an up air, or the teammate can fend people off, and you get a really simplified advantage state with Lucina, which in my opinion is, again, amazing for doubles. This character is never really out of it, and it's hard to contest them in the air in doubles considering so much is happening. So again, like Snake, you know, the big disadvantage I feel like of Lucina is her disadvantage state if you just kind of avoid forward air or back air, whichever side she's facing. So that's gonna be a big deal, because when your teammate is there and able to help you, because it's like such a one obvious flaw that like it can be covered by your teammate but just by being there, and they're not going to really be able to capitalize, like your opponent isn't going to be able to capitalize on where you're like in the air or when you're landing and things like that. I think it is absolutely huge for Lucina, because like that, like I already think Lucina is an amazing character, but now with that, like her main flaw similar to Snake is gone. You know, she has the speed, she has the power, she has the damage to keep up with every other character in the game, and now that she's not just going to get juggled for free, you know, like I feel like that is huge and is one of the reasons why I think Lucina is one of the best characters. And the last character I'm going to talk about is going to be Peach. One, she seems like an incredibly threatening character in singles. Like, oh my god, she's one of the scariest characters in the entire game, and that still rings true for doubles, because the quick little shield pressure with float cancel back airs and float cancel nairs and down tilts still happens in doubles. It's just now like your opponent can't really just get around it or just run away and camp you, because there's an opponent there, like you're in half the stage, worst comes to worst if you're fighting 1v1s, but also then you have to deal with their teammate anyway. This character does so much damage. You know, struggles to kill sometimes because like really she only really has like back air and forward air as her kill confirms, and like rather kill moves, and forward air doesn't really kill that early, but she has a counter, she has a really good option in terms of float, so she can just pressure people kind of for free, assuming they're not a sword character. You know, you have damage, you have edge guarding, you have everything you need, and again, if you are paired with some character that kills really early, then the flaw of Peach, which is the fact that sometimes she has to wait until 140, 150, 160 to kill is no longer going to be there, and that is huge for her. She has a projectile in terms of turnips, and you can sometimes just steal games because you got a stitch face. You have float cancel aerial. She does like 50% in her combos by herself. She has nair and down air and forward air that are all really good for team combos or even float cancel back air. If you get stuck in shield between her and her teammate, like you might just break your shield. Your shield just might break, or you're gonna get shield poked and get hit and take so much damage. Like this character, this potential of this character, both in singles and in doubles, is incredibly high. Samsora was one of the best, if not the best, doubles player in the United States in Smash 4, and I very much so look forward to watching him play doubles in this game. And yeah, that's going to be about it for this one. I hope you all enjoyed. I know you guys were really looking forward to this doubles video, as your comments in one of the other videos was pretty much showed me. So let me know what else you guys want me to talk about, and I will probably pick some of them and talk about them in future videos. As always, social media, Panda, and partner stuff is down below, and I will see you all next time. Bye.